BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, and we're here to talk about Red Ranger Isekai Episode 6. Double checking to make sure that I didn't mess up like last time. Okay, yeah. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, I'm sick, so apologies in advance, but this video would be less scripted and edited than usual. This episode adapts the remaining 2/3 of Chapter 7 and the first 2/3 of Chapter 8. Hey, that's 4/6 of 2 chapters. I know math. I'm stupid. There's not a lot of action, but hey, everyone needs a break from fighting, like my body and my immune system eventually. Please wish me a safe recovery. Hell, this time I'm gonna go point for point with the manga first, and then in the script tell you what was changed and altered. I know it may seem lazy, but trust me, I had like 10 shorts I had planned and a video for Valentine's Day I couldn't make. So if I'm healed through the week, I'll do a better job for next time. Starting with Chapter 7, Shalula's treatment helps Tetalina wake up, promising that she'll feel better tomorrow in the morning. The anime adds seeing the magic seed infestation to her chest be reduced to normal, with Loji slamming down on her in excitement, and Togo and Yidra having to pull him off her, throwing him across the room. Not gonna lie, I laughed too. I actually wish that was in the manga. She explains that her elixir was able to do reports on the magic seeds thanks to the fact royals own them as a rich measuring contest, but the knowledge of Demon Lord's clan might convince him to take them in, but for now they can just stay there and recover. Our ranger learns from both mages about the tower having licensed magic researchers, adventurers considered unlicensed like most wizard adventurers, and licensed wizards, unlike her, can't develop magic tools or do magic research past the tower's magic system, and we can all guess who's in charge of regulating them. Yidra calls out Shalula for monopolizing the nobles and the knights, claiming magic tech is supposed to help people who can't learn magic and just help people in general. But Shalula calls her and her father stupid because with poor management has caused lowering wizards increasing accidents with inferior tools, pointing out numerous accidents, poor people attacking a nobleman's mansion, slave merchants using magic tools to enslave demi-humans, orphans who became thieves, claiming she doesn't mind being suspected of monopolization if people get protected from getting harmed with dangerous magic tools. I'll say this, while Shahua is a jerk, she makes good points, and even Red agrees that her dreams are hard to achieve. Heck, given the anime cut out Red saving people from slaves back in episode 1, I'm surprised they actually chose to keep that line in. Plus, the music really fits Shahuya's aggressive personality. The anime even shows Shahuya poking her chest so hard it actually leaves a mark temporarily. And Yidra isn't pleased one bit, fleeing before Red could rebuttal. And in the past, she couldn't regain the position of royal wand with help from others because the researchers got paid more, and everyone called out her dream for being impossible. I love how the anime gives them this nightmarish VHS look to signify how, from Yidra's perspective, the people who used to work for her father basically betrayed them. Red decides to chase her down, leading to her to argue he never believed in her, but he jumps off to tackle her in the snow. Hopefully she doesn't get sick like me. I didn't even notice he used Blue Zord in the manga to catch up with her. He points out he's always believed in her and continues with what he was going to say. Her dream is hard to achieve, but that's all more important for her to accomplish it, which she can't do alone. The anime shows her perspective when she says, "I knew you'd say that," with more romantic music around them. In addition, I appreciate since the manga didn't really show us her face when he said that until afterwards. Shalula's system isn't too similar to our world, as Red points out. You need qualifications to handle things like driving cars, research, and medication. Probably need to do a little bit more of that for guns, but both agree restricting everything is just a little bit overdoing it. So one way to start is by actually opening magic tool classes, but Togo points out she's got to work with Shahuya for now to make that a reality. They may be enemies, but if Yidra can work with her, it's still a win-win, right? He promises to help her, and as he starts to sneeze, "Do the opposite of me and drink something warm." She realizes she was only mad because she's come to love him. Anime changes it to like, but with same intention, it works. In the bath, she ponders how to use mana metal properly with her frustration more animated, and accidentally summons Red in the bathroom, which ends the Chapter 7 contents. Moving into Chapter 8 content, we see what Togo was up to before he got celebrated. He climbs up a balcony to thank Logi for what he did earlier, before asking him not to do that anymore, in a voice chilling in both versions, before Logi tells him about his expectations of space being a heaven or land of the dead, but he still found it beautiful. Enough for Red to beam, even though that glowing was the cause of the teleportation. The manga gives us an image of this, but the anime adds a whole scene of Red in a pinch from a villain to explain teleportation to Ydra, which means summoning Pink while she's with a friend, Blue as he's dealing with his company on the phone, Yellow on her lunch break doing work as a teacher, and Green being the only one actually ready to fight. Forgot to add this in the script, but Blue still being on the phone while transformed is just really hilarious. Like, if I was a ranger, that would totally either be me or Yellow. Red explains that teleportation works if they have strong bond energy between the bracelets, making Ydra realize Mana Metal is made of bond energy, with Togo helping her explain from his mentor it's similar to the bonding of atoms, creating the suits and weapons, and how it would break your body down to atoms and reconstruct it at the next warp location. But Red can't teleport back to his world. Still, Ydra points out how scary that is, and notes that both the worlds have to be connected somehow, and decides for a more thorough investigation, mounting him. Next day reveals they both feel super awkward because he saw her body, and she was realizing her own feelings about him while studying him, leading to a bunch of awkwardness, which then leads to Tetalina assuming they bonded, leading even Shua shocked that all four of them were having a conversation like that out loud. The manga called it Bond Fusion, or Bond Show Fusion, but Bond Merge just works so much better, so again, props to the anime for just making that scene that was already funny enough even funnier. Then we meet Tetalina's family. Her father, the mostly chill goddess, her arrogant brother Daryl, and the captain of the Imperial Knights, Regulus Mockvolts. Man, that is such a cool name. That being said, Regulus looks a lot older than in the manga. I guess it makes sense, and he's the captain of the Knights. Even nepotism wouldn't allow someone that young to be in charge. But considering the manga reveals later what his relationship with Tetalina is expected to be, it's a little jarring. That being said, I like Goddess. He wants the seeds that cause the privileged spells destroyed and doesn't want to risk her going out in the world. And she knows that some people won't follow orders, and all he asks her to do is be careful on her journey. We love supportive dads. I have less positive words to say about her brother and Daryl, who blindly thinks they can easily beat the Demon Queen and the Demon Lord just because they have Logi and wants to use the seeds to strengthen their army, destroy the Demi-Human Alliance, who did nothing wrong, and colonize them into a giant ethno-state. And now this feels like if Iroh was king, and either Azula or Ozai was his child. Even as Tet points out, the Demon Lord can control the magic seed's power, but Daryl argues with Shilua's help they can confiscate them, leading Goddess to split the roles of Darius using the seeds and confiscating them, and Tet in charge of dealing with those who don't stop using them. Daryl even seems surprised Tet went from such a tomboy and a wildcat to a well-mannered person, accusing her of trying to emulate and replace Ardito, which she rejects. Meanwhile, Ydra confronts Shiluya about trying to make it possible for humans to control the seeds, handing her a list of ways to improve the qualification system, though Shiluya gets upset, but offers her a chance to investigate something for her. And it may be an uncommon benefit for both of them as they start to explore the deserts. Wow, I'm actually going to get this out before 7 p.m. Awesome. Yeah, as drained as I am, I'm kind of glad this episode didn't go into the Sun Forest arc just yet. From an adaptation standpoint, if they cut straight to the action, we'd lose out on a lot of fun moments with the cast that actually help the audience be endeared to the core four. And it gives the animators who worked on the Sakuga more time to put that effort into the action scenes that will be coming up. Because the second half of the anime is going to have a lot of action scenes. Speaking of which, the additions to this episode are probably the most beneficial to the story. Tetalina's recovery, Logi's lovesick reactions, Shiluya's cruelty, the effects of the researchers, Yudra's dad worked with not helping her, Yudra's feeling towards Togo, and always getting more of Red's backstories to his team, ended up helping out the chapters that these were adapted from. Story-wise, I think it's important that we got Shiryu's heroic antagonist perspective as his hurdle Yujiro has to overcome. And given how much we get to learn about the way magic regulation works, having an episode as setup for their next adventure fits pretty well. BIP of Bizarre Productions, and signing off. Please help I feel better for the rest of the week. Thanks for watching.